Historically, in a midterm, the current person in the White House, the current party who's in charge, loses usually the House for sure. Sometimes both the House and the Senate in the midterms. That's what this is all about to start with.
A little bit of crazy, but a whole lot of right. You're listening to the Average Joe Podcast with Damon Gilbert.
A lot to talk about today, and I want to get right into it. So, first of all, I want to talk to you about something that kind of hit home to me the other day. I don't know if you've ever known anybody that's had heat exhaustion, but I had it about 3 years ago, and it was just on the verge of heat stroke. Okay, it was pretty bad. I ended up in the hospital, that kind of thing. I guess the moral of this story that I'm about to tell you is that getting older is really difficult, and it's not for the meek or mild. It really isn't. It's a constant battle. I swear to God, if the human body was a car model, and you saw it sitting on the showroom floor, say it was a new one. Say the human body was a new vehicle that they just put out. You would never buy it. Because it requires too much maintenance. And just the slightest little things will set it off. So anyway, long story short, I ended up going to an event on Sunday. This was of this week. I was standing out in the sun for a little while. It wasn't even really hot to speak of. I mean, it was nice. It was actually a nice day. But apparently, from what I've researched and learned now, if you've had any kind of heat exhaustion at any time in your life, there's a distinct possibility that you will have an issue with heat and the sun and humidity for the rest of your life. It was probably my fault because I probably didn't hydrate the way I should. And I think I'm still 25 and I'm not. So I've really got to be careful because I ended up feeling like horrible for 3 days. I don't know if any of you drank, and gotten hammered on an evening. The next morning, what do you feel like? I felt like that for 2 days, and it's starting to come back. It is my strength and everything, but literally, I got home that evening, couldn't even raise my arms, and it's just terrible. It throws your thermostat off. Your internal thermostat is what heat exhaustion does. It sends messages to your body saying, hey, this isn't what we want to do. We've been down this road before, and you're not going to be able to do this. And it ruins your day. It really does. So anyway, if I don't look or sound like I did in the past, it's probably because of that, because it really got me down. But anyway, what do I want to talk to you today? I've got all kinds of things. My God, this has been a busy week. We've had an assassination attempt on the president of the United States. We've had, what else have we had? Well, that was probably the big one. The Virginia redistricting issue, which I'll get to in just a second. We've had numerous things. I'm not going to be able to talk about all of them. The Iran conflict. I think that's a big one. Obviously, we're in a stalemate at the moment, but I think that's probably going to change. And if I had anything to do with it, it would have already changed. But nonetheless, what we're going to talk about first here is the assassination attempt. It was on Saturday at a White House Correspondents' dinner. Now, as you all know, and I've been more than willing to admit, I am a Trump supporter. Okay, overall, I'm a Trump supporter. Does he make mistakes? Is he arrogant? Is he a blowhard? Yes, absolutely. I think he is. I've admitted this many times. But again, I always go back to, what is your alternative? Okay. That aside, Saturday night, White House Correspondents' Dinner. My question is this. First of all, it was the Marriott. It wasn't at a secure facility. First problem. Okay. I mean, you can only do so much. The Secret Service can only do so much. They cannot protect a person 100% all the time. They just can't. It's impossible. There's too many variables. And then what do? you take and you move into a facility that's has all kinds of possibilities for leaks. Okay, it's a hotel, for God's sakes. The guy that apparently, I'll show you a picture of him here. I mean, you've probably seen him. Democrat from California, bleeding heart liberal, a guy that's got Trump derangement syndrome. But my question is this: that aside, what was Trump thinking? Why would you go to this thing? He didn't go last year. He didn't go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Why would you go? He hates these people. These people hate him. Why would you take your wife and your entire cabinet there? I don't understand this. Is it just arrogance? Is that what happened? Because this guy got pretty close. I mean, granted, he didn't get into the bill. I mean, he didn't get into the room, but he could have. And you've got your entire cabinet there. You've got J.D. Vance sitting to your right. I think Mike Johnson was there. That's the next steps in, that's the next steps to the president's. I mean, it really is. I mean, if the president dies, the vice president takes over. If the vice president's not there, the Speaker of the House, you had them all there. Succession. This doesn't work. What were you thinking? I don't know. Sometimes I think Trump's more arrogant than anything. He thinks he's invincible. I don't think he is. I think we've got some real issues here. He's got to stay away from these people. These people hate your guts. They do. And not only that, but I mean, I want you to watch this because I couldn't believe this. These people are scumbags. Journalism in this situation, these people are absolutely the worst of the worst. They have no class. They're scumbags. Anybody that's in these positions, and I'm gonna play this for you. I want you to see some of this, and it takes a minute. We're gonna. Okay, right now, listen. There've been shots. Okay, they get him out, which is exactly the thing to do. The Secret Service acted appropriately. They got everybody out of the building. But I want you to look at these correspondents. Look at this. Look at this. They're cowering like a bunch of rats. That's what they are. Look at them. Look at them. They have absolutely no. They're supposed to be journalists. What are they doing? They're hiding under the tables. Now I understand they didn't know what was going on. I to some degree I can. But look at this guy on the left there. Look at this guy on the left. He's videotaping this. Yeah, he's videoing this. He's going to play this on his station or his podcast or his whatever and talk about where he was at during the assassination attempt. I mean, it went on and on all night about this. People were talking about where they were at, what happened. I mean, it was ridiculous. It got to the point where these people are scumbags. And on top of everything else, let me go back to this. Wolf Blitzer, CNN News. He had the audacity to say when he heard the gunshots, he thought they may be coming for him. Wolf's got talk about an inflated ego. You're in the midst of every correspondent that covers the White House, and you think they're coming after you? What a jerk. Never have liked that guy. Hate CNN. Trump said that they're trash. They're fake news. So my question is, Don, what are you doing there? Why are you there? I would have not gone to that. And this is a perfect example of why they need this ballroom built behind the White House. You need a secure facility, someplace that the Secret Service can control completely, 100%. It's not a private business. It's not, you don't have guests coming and going. By the way, this this guy right here, he ended up the way he got in there. And what cracks me up is this guy came from California to do this. From California. And the media there's no way to spin this to make this a guy a MAGA. I mean, did you see I don't know if you saw his manifesto, but he was pretty much straight up talking about exactly what he felt. He hates Trump. He hates everything. He thinks that it's evil and that somehow or other he was called on. He didn't say by God, but it had to be something like that to make a jump like this, because otherwise look at this. You end up like this on your face on a dirty carpet with no shirt on, which I don't know, kind of threw me off. Plus, the guy's lucky he wasn't shot. There were shots returned. Secret Service took a shot at this guy. And as far as I'm concerned, the Secret Service needs to go back to the shooting range. Why this guy isn't dead is beyond me. They never even winged him. And by the way, let's see if I can find this right quick. I want to show you how quickly he was able to get in there. Look at this. Watch this. Watch this. I'll back this up a little bit. Hang on just a second. Okay. Now watch this. Right now, as you can see, if you look at this, the main event's probably over. All the people are in the facility. Okay. So they're just standing around shooting the shit. Secret Service is. I mean, they've got, from what I can see, they've got a metal detector down there, but you got doors that are, I don't know. Can you come in those doors? I don't know. But watch how quick. This guy was not an idiot. He wasn't. What he did was really smart. He surprised him, and he could have gotten in there. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that let's watch it first here. I want to show you this. Look at this. He comes running by. I don't know who he shot and when he shot him.
Shall I post it as soon as we pass down that?
18. Go for
I don't know when it all took place, but imagine if this was a radical Iranian, an Islamic radical who had a bomb strapped to them. He could have gotten in there. What are you doing there, Don? What are you doing? A large majority of the people, a large segment of society can't stand you. I mean, how many times do we have to have people celebrate the fact that there was an assassination attempt in the first place? The Democrats were the lunatic left out there on social media was going crazy over this. Everybody wishing, oh, that's a shame that he wasn't able to get in there, and it would have been a great thing. And I was excited. I've seen countless people talking about this. People hate your guts. People are crazy. You know, I was wondering the other day, is it possible that there are more crazies out there than there were before? Is that possible? Or hear me out. Is it possible that social media has made it possible for the crazies to meet each other, to contact each other? Because think about it. In the 1970s, when I was growing up, there were crazy people. We knew it. We knew who the crazies were, but they were crazy all by themselves, right? They were kind of, unless you wanted to travel to another place, or if you knew who to call or write a letter, you had no way to contact other crazy people that think like you do, right? I mean, there might be one or two. They were sprinkled throughout society. That's what they were. God said, "Hey, we're gonna sprinkle the crazies around, and they won't cause any trouble. They'll be for entertainment mainly." Yeah, I mean, some are violent. Don't get me wrong, but social media has allowed these people to find each other, and to organize, and to compare notes, and to have people pat them on the back and say, "You're right." To have your craziness confirmed. That's what it is. And I think this is what happens here. I mean, imagine if it was 50 years ago and you had, I mean, these correspondence dinners took place years ago. They've been taking place for decades. Imagine you had one. You wouldn't even know that it took place, chances are, in the 1970s until after the fact. until someone reported on it. But as it stands now, a crazy in California has the ability to go online, figure out the schedule, find out when this is going to take place. He's able to, I guess, get on a train. I'm not sure how I don't know why you would take a train to DC, but nonetheless, I would just drive, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you just drive to DC? You obviously can't take a plane because you're carrying guns with you. You're able to check into a hotel with the guns, and you're within a stone's throw of the president of the United States and the entire cabinet. What the hell are you thinking, Don? You really need to rethink this because they're going to try this again. And you say what you want. This guy, if this is an MK Ultra, I don't know what is. He's in academia. He's some kind of tutor. Supposed to be, I think he was voted Teacher of the Month a couple weeks ago. This is a normal, I say normal, and I say that if you'd seen him a month ago, you'd say this guy's normal. I mean, he may have some radical, political beliefs. I mean, he's from California, for Christ's sake. What do you expect? The land of fruits and nuts, right? Tell me I'm wrong. I really feel sorry for people who live in California that have a conservative, a conservative way that they live. Anyone who's a conservative in California, it's got to be a bummer. It's kind of like being in Illinois or New York or Oregon or Washington, the state of, or DC for that matter. But I mean, this guy was normal. So what switch was flipped? What causes somebody to think this is a good idea? Because I don't know about you, but think about what he was doing. There was no way this was going to work. He was not organized enough. His claim to fame was the fact that he surprised these guys. And again, he's lucky he's not dead. And I think that the Secret Service needs to send their guys to the gun range a little bit more. This guy should have had 3 or 4 center mass. He should have. Instead, he ends up on his face with no shirt on, which I'm still don't understand how that happened. But come on, Don. Come on, start using your head. Why do you have your wife there? Why do you have your wife there? You knew it was, and the Secret Service is probably to blame for this at some level because someone should have told Donald Trump, this isn't a good idea, sir. We can't secure this whole area. And having your entire cabinet there, not a good idea. Now, did he say, I don't care. This is what we're going to do. It's possible. He's arrogant. He's he thinks he's invincible, but he's not. That guy could have just easily gotten a shot off and killed him. So I think we need to rethink this whole thing. I really do. I think it's time to look at this from a standpoint of what kind of a risk we're taking, risk assessment. And I think we need to stop doing it and get that damn ballroom built. Screw everybody. Screw the judges. I don't give a shit. He's paying for it himself. It's privately. Donald Trump's not paying for the whole thing, but he's getting donations. Build the damn thing. Make it secure. Make it a place where you have to go through 3 or 4 different levels of security. Something that's secure. It would make me feel a lot better. I mean, let's not have the president of the United States down at the local Motel 6. What do you think? Think that'd be a good idea? I do. All right. So moving right along, I want to talk about redistricting. Now, Virginia tried to redistrict. They tried to gerrymander their state the other day. Well, actually, they took a vote on it, and the state of Virginia, by like 2 points, I think it was 51-49, approved a redistricting map for the state of Virginia. It was ridiculous. It was so over the top, gerrymandered to the point where, I think it went from, 7 or 6 Republicans and 4 Democrats to 10 Democrats and 1 Republican. It was blatantly obvious what they were doing, and they got a large portion of people in Virginia. By the way, the only way Virginia votes is it's one little area that's close to DC. Okay, it's solid blue, and that's what really drives Virginia's voting. It really is. The rest of the state doesn't matter. It's kind of like Illinois. Illinois is the same way. Where however Chicago goes, so goes Illinois. So you can be in Southern Illinois, be a good conservative, be a Republican. Doesn't matter. They don't care. They don't care. Same thing in Virginia. So naturally, when redistricting, a possibility to redistrict comes out, the blues come out of the woodwork, and it got it passed. Well, turns out a federal judge says no. A circuit judge actually said no, we can't do that, and Supreme Court in Virginia's ruled against it. So let's see, a judge blocks Virginia from using new congressional maps one day after redistricting vote passes. Okay. Yeah, it says a state court judge on Wednesday blocked Virginia from moving forward with a redistricting effort that passed in a referendum a day earlier, a roadblock in Democrats' efforts to redraw the state's lines. And really, all honesty, this was something that everyone does. Okay, they do it, but they don't do it blatantly like this. This was way over the top. As a matter of fact, let me show you. Let's see if I can find it right quick. You can see what they've done. You can see it was a blatant attempt to take over Virginia. And here's the thing, folks. You're taking over, you're changing the congressional map. And without any election, any voter input, you've added, if you use this map, you've added 4 additional Democratic seats to Congress. So in other words, the balance of power has changed without any vote whatsoever. And I know everybody does it. We did it. And here's one in Texas. They did it. But do you see the difference? Do you see the difference between what the Republicans did in Texas as opposed to what the Democrats are doing in Virginia? It's blatantly obvious what's going on. It's not even close. Now they've done it in Missouri. We've done it. Here's North Carolina. Yeah, gerrymandering goes on. There's no doubt about it. But it's so bad that this Brian Cannon, who was in charge of this whole thing, he even said that this was way over the top, and we shouldn't do it. Yeah, I mean, let me see if I can bring that up right quick. Where did he say that? Yeah, here it is. Let me get it up on here. Let's see. Nope, can't do it. I tell you, when you're a one-man operation, it's really hard to do this sometimes. But I do want to show you this. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. Here we go. Let's look at this. Now, he even said, as a Democrat, I'm telling my Democratic friends, we really don't need to cheat to win. That's what he said. So he said that this was cheating, which he's right. It is cheating. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. So what's the ultimate goal here? I mean, obviously it's to take over the House of Representatives, right? I mean, isn't that the whole goal? I mean, historically, in a midterm, the current person in the White House, the current party who's in charge, loses usually the House for sure. Sometimes both the House and the Senate in the midterms. That's what this is all about. To start with. And if you think it's over, if you think because they lost this and you think that they're done, they're not. As a matter of fact, this guy right here, who is Jay Jones, okay? This guy here says that this is not over. This is just the start of it. They're going to attempt this in every state in the and the union. And eventually they'll get something passed because this guy here, he's the one that fantasized about killing Republican lawmakers' family. Remember that? He's the attorney general for Virginia. This guy's a lunatic. He's a lunatic. And this is who's in charge. You remember, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, Project 2025. There's always agendas going on. Well, they have a new one now. They have a new one. And it's a Democrat agenda, and it's called Project 2029. Okay? Project 2029, you're not going to believe what they're going to attempt to do. I know you've never heard of it. I hadn't heard of it until yesterday. I heard of Project 2030. That has to do with the environment and stuff. 2029 is a little different. And what do they mean by 2029? Well, they're planning on winning the White House in 2028. I think Pritzker from Illinois is probably going to be in the running. He's a billionaire. He'll probably try and buy the position. I would say he's probably your best bet for Democrats. Would be Pritzker from Illinois. He's getting ready to run. You can tell he's lost weight. He's looking a little like he's in better shape. So, because a fat man can't be president. I've made that clear. Fat man can't be president, and you can't have a beard. So if J.D. Vance is going to run, he needs to lose a beard. It's that simple. Stand by that. I've always believed that. There's a lot of other issues that come into play, but that is one of the big ones. Can't be morbidly obese. Okay. JD's still pretty heavy, but he's got several years left. But he's going to start campaigning. He's doing it right now. So we've got Project 2029. What they mean by that is they're going to start dismantling our democracy or our republic as soon as the president, who, if it's a Democrat, is inaugurated in 2029. Because you know how it works. You're elected in 2028. Then you have a lame duck session. January 20th, the inauguration takes place in 2029. So that means you're going to start immediately. 2029, that's their agenda. Now, I want you to listen to something right quick. This is going to scare the living shit out of you. It really is. Now, there is a podcast on. It's called Politics War Room. It's James Carville, who, by the way, was the strategist and the main guy of the Clinton White House. Okay. He's a lunatic. I thought he was a lunatic back then. I think he's still a lunatic. He's said some of the craziest stuff. He's aged considerably. He's an old man, but I tell you what, he knows what's going on. He does, in fact, know what's going on. And he gives us a warning here. Now, this is Al Hunt, who's a correspondent. He's a left-leaning idiot, as far as I'm concerned. You've probably never heard of this podcast. Happened to hear it this morning, and I listened to it, or yesterday. I was like, oh my God, they're telling you exactly what they're going to do. That's what they're doing. They're telling you, and they're going to do it, and they're not even going to run on it. Listen to this. I'm gonna bring this up. Okay, here we go. They want to gerrymander the House. That's exactly what they want to do. They want to gerrymander the House. They want to make it a permanent Democratic majority. Okay, that's what they're after. So listen to this.
Don't talk about it. Just do it.
Yeah. That's not the one I wanted to put on. I want to do this one first. Listen to this. I want you to listen closely.
I think on day one, this should make Puerto Rico, D.C. a state, and it should expand the Supreme Court to 13. Eat our dust.
Is that not ominous? James Carville saying what we should do is make Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. states. And then add members to the Supreme Court. They want to make it 13. So they would add 4 immediately. That's what they want to do. And here's the funny thing. Here's not the funny thing. This is the scary thing. They don't need They don't need a constitutional amendment to do this. All they need is a simple majority in Congress to do this. That's it. That's it. And listen to this.
Don't talk about it. Just do it.
Do you hear what he said?
Don't run on it. Don't talk about it. Just do it.
Don't
run on it. Don't talk about it. Just do it.
Don't run on it. Don't talk about it. Just do it. That's ominous, folks. That's ominous. That means, and I firmly believe that they have every intention of doing this. They're planning on stacking the Supreme Court, making DC and Puerto Rico states. And they can do that. And here's the thing. You can take people off the Supreme Court with a simple majority. You can't take back statehood. That would be permanent. And if they get away with this, DC, it votes 90% Democrat. It has for decades. Puerto Rico will do the same thing. So they will have a majority in Congress that you can't beat, that you can't go up against. And you and I will be stuck in a situation where Democrats are in charge of everything. And some people would say, well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. One party rule. One party rule. One party rule never works. It turns into theocracies. It turns into communism. There's nothing good about this. This will not work. And it has to be stopped. It has to be. Now, what do we do? Well, you make sure everybody's aware of this. Agenda 2029. Start using it in conversations tomorrow. Talk about it. They have every intention of basically taking over the country and leaving us in the dust. Carville even said it. Eat our dust. We're gonna whiz by you, and you're not even gonna see us. Kind of like the guy when he was breaking in, when he tried to assassinate the president. Blow by him before they even know what's going on. We're in a really precarious situation at the moment. I mean, we've got things going on left and right, but this is serious. This is serious business here. And by the way, speaking of, because what they'll do is they'll put these idiots in charge. They'll have congressmen elected that will do whatever they're told. I mean, for instance, listen to this is Ilhan Omar from Minnesota, and she is, if she's not living proof of the agenda of the Democrats, I don't know what is. Listen to this.
The last time the Alien Enemies Act was invoked, it was used to detain and deport German, Japanese, Italian immigrants during World War XI.
Did you catch that?
The last time the Alien Enemies Act was invoked, it was used to detain and deport German, Japanese, Italian immigrants during World War XI.
World War XI. World War XI. This is a sitting congressman. A sitting congressman. She said this in January. And it got out. I think it was on Twitter. Somebody reposted it. And the next thing you know, everybody's talking about it. Is that a slip of the tongue? No. No. She's an idiot. She's a useful idiot. All of these people are. They're going to get people who are willing to sell their soul to the devil to become congressmen. And they know they can't be touched. And how do I know they can't be touched? How do I know that? How do I know they can't be touched? No one's been touched yet, right? Explain to me who has gone to jail for breaking the law. Who? Some fourth tier person? Fine. Why is Hillary Clinton not in jail? James Comey got arrested the other day. So I want people in chains. I want people behind bars. Letitia James broke the law. She claimed that it was a real estate issue. But if it was you and me doing that, we'd be in jail. We'd be trying to figure out how we were going to make bail. But no, instead she's on TV yesterday. I saw her making a statement. She's still in charge. This is somebody that went after Trump. No one's going down. And I'm very disappointed in that. I mean, if you want to talk about things that I'm disappointed in the Trump administration, this is one of them. No one's paying for their crimes. No one. And until you make somebody pay, until you make these people pay dearly, they're going to continue to do it. There's no reason not to for them. That's what I'm the most disappointed about. But what they're going to do is they're going to put people like this, Ilhan Omar, a radical Muslim, someone who's got an agenda, someone who will do whatever they're told. There'll be no pushback. She thinks it's World War XI. And I know, it's 2 1s. You would think it's an honest mistake. People say, oh, it's an honest mistake. She didn't, that was just a misstep. No, it wasn't. That's like, that would be similar to getting your own birthday wrong. How many times have you done that? How many times when somebody says, oh, what's your birthday? Say you're the doctor, right? And they're wanting to, clarify and make sure that you are who you say you are. And they say, what's your birth date? Have you ever gotten that wrong? I've never once gotten it wrong. It's like getting my middle name wrong. Have I screwed up and said my middle name wrong? Maybe have I ever called my wife instead of Barbara? Have I ever referred to my wife as Mary? No, never done that. So when we're talking about internment camps in World War II, I don't mistakenly say World War XI. Somalis, by the way, just for the record, statistically, Somalis' average IQ is 87. Guess where she's from? She married her brother. She stole money from you and I, the taxpayer. She's still doing it. And she will continue to do it. Because the United States is so worried, and people who are in charge are so worried about about claims of racism. This is the enemy. This is the enemy. Ilhan Omar is the enemy of the United States, of an American. You and me. You're listening to this podcast right now. She is your enemy, and she's in a position of power in Congress today. Is that not scary? And she's just one of the more open ones that you can pick out of a crowd. You think Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, is not the enemy? He is. He is. I can go down a list. There's no one in Congress that's worth a shit. None of them. Yeah, you know what's funny about that ballroom thing with the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and I mean, I'm not saying I wanted to see this happen, but best thing could have happened is a bomb had gone off in there and eliminated the entire crew, other than the administration. You think the world wouldn't be a better place if every correspondent in that place was just removed from the face of the earth, unalived? Because I can't say the other word on YouTube. What if they were all unalived? You think the world would be a better place without the likes of Wolf Blitzer? I happen to think it would. But again, I'm not endorsing that by any stretch of the imagination. Violence is never the answer. It really isn't. Unless you're talking about Iran. That's something else I want to talk to you about right now. I don't know how else to put this. Donald Trump has let me down in this position, in this situation. The only thing the IRCG and the radical left, or the radical, Jesus, that's a Freudian slip, the radical Islam state in Iran knows is violence. It's the only thing they respond to. And yes, we've bombed them into, they're in disarray, to say the least. They have no Air Force, they have no Navy. What do? They got a bunch of little boats that are driving around, splashing around in the Gulf out there, taking pot shots at tankers. Okay, yeah, but that's not a Navy. Okay, that's a bunch of drunk guys going out on a fishing trip. That's what that is. What do we do? What do we do about this? He's threatened it numerous times. He wants to blow up all their bridges and their ability to make electricity. He's threatened that. He's threatened it time and time again. What do I think? I think we should have done it 3 weeks ago. That's what I think. You have to stomp these people out. There's no getting around it. It's the only thing they understand. And I go back to, slapping your dog with a newspaper when he does his business in the middle of your, inside on your rug. What do? You smack him with a newspaper. You don't want to hurt him, but you want him to remember, hey, I probably shouldn't do this, because if I do this, this happens. Same thing here. We need to take these people out. And will there be some deaths, some unnecessary deaths? Absolutely there will. But I don't know how else to do this. We're the most powerful military on planet Earth. And we're letting a bunch of, I wouldn't say subhuman, that's probably the wrong word. But these people are ruthless. The Muslim religion is violent. There's no other way to look at it. It's always been violent. Oh, got an alarm going off somewhere. I think I know what that is. I think that's my dehumidifier. It just won't shut up. You're gonna be quiet? There we go. It stopped. Yeah, because humid as can be in Missouri right now. Oh my gosh, we've had rain like you cannot believe. Oh man, I tell you, storms left and right. Of course, today it's pretty nice out, and I'm sure the humidity will jump to about 95%. So, if you're like me and you're a little susceptible to the humidity, stay inside. Between the hours of 10 and 4. I learned that through my research yesterday, or over the last couple of days, about heat exhaustion. You do not want to be out in the humid time of day. You just can't. You just simply can't. So anyway, back to Iran. Like I said, I'm disappointed in Donald Trump. I think at the end of the day, we're going to look back at this, and I know it's only been what, 6-7 weeks, and I understand that, but the strait needs to be opened up again. China's suffering. Not that I give a rat's ass about that. That's one positive from this whole thing, is that China's suffering. Yeah, China can't get oil. They bought the majority of their oil from Venezuela and Iran. Now they can't get it. What are they going to do? And here's the other thing. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but Trump's saying that their infrastructure may start to fall as far as their oil ability to produce oil. And that's because once these tanks are full, because right now they can't ship oil. There's an embargo. They've got a blockade on Iran. They're not leaving with any oil. So they have no place to go with the oil that's coming out of their wells. And it's not like you can just turn the tap off. It doesn't work that way. So they got some real issues right now. So anyway, that's all I wanted to talk to you about today. Again, Trump's about the only alternative we've got. I don't know. I talked to somebody the other day. They were asking about they can't stand Donald Trump. And I said, well, what's your alternative? Give me an alternative. Would you rather have Kamala Harris in charge or Joe Biden? Of course not. I mean, he blanched at that. He's like, oh my God, no. Well, then who do you have? Who do you want in charge? Do I agree with everything Donald Trump's doing? Absolutely not. And I've mentioned that here, a couple of things that I think is crazy. But overall, I'd rather have him than the alternative. So anyway, Do me a favor. Again, liking and subscribing and hitting that little bell to let you know that I've posted something new. That's currency as far as YouTube's concerned. And I could use some currency for YouTube. Doesn't cost you anything. Don't cost nothing, as John Belushi would say. Have a beer, don't cost nothing. Exactly. Like and subscribe, don't cost nothing. Okay? Well, we'll see you next time. All right. Peace out.
A little bit of crazy, but a whole lot of right. You're listening to the Average Joe Podcast with Damon Gilbert.